Develop your skills. Exercise 4, Development 04. Display subtotals. Subtotals are just that. Totals that are less than the total of the entire sheet. They're usually a total of a category within the sheet. When we have a large group of data that is a total of sales across 6 states, what if we want the total for each state in addition to the total for all states? That's a subtotal. They're really handy when you need to break up your sales teams into thirds, when you need to look through the finances of different states or departments in a business, and when all of that information is on the same sheet. Easier to make heads or tails of it when it's broken down into pieces. Do this. Open up the sales perf sheet, and then with this opened up, you're going to want to click on the sales by state sheet here. Don't do what I did and do this whole thing on sales performance table. There's no total in column J on that one. Come on over here to sales by state and then select A4 through J18. You can click on just a single cell and then do the sorting on the data tab when you click sort, and it will select this whole group. The reason that I don't recommend it is that it will automatically assume that you want the whole table, and it will predict the table that you want. It's going to be correct almost every time. But when you select your own group of data, you know exactly what you're getting. This is one of the few times where I prefer to do the predicting instead of letting Excel do it. And I predict that this whole table is what I'm going to want. Either way works just fine for this exercise. A4 through J18, click sort, and then it's just a matter of adding a 2-stage sort. First by region, then by state. We're going to sort by region. We'll sort the values from A to Z, and then we're going to click Add Level, and we will then sort by state. We're also going to sort those alphabetically. Click OK, and there we go. Central, Eastern, Western, and then among those groups, Colorado, Illinois, Florida. We're good to go. Now, we need to do the subtotals. The subtotals are over here in the Outline menu, still on the Data tab, but they're on the Outline menu. Click Subtotal, and we're just going to have it click the down arrow here to get to state. We're going to have it give us the state totals. It'll give us the sum of everything in that state, and it's going to put them next to the total sales. Reading this from top to bottom, making a little more heads or tails of it, just like we would if we were reading this out of the page of a book. At each change in state, Colorado, Illinois, Florida, we are going to take the sum of the total sales. Pretty straightforward, no? Click OK, and here we are. At first, you're like, wait a minute, this is a pretty big change. It's added a few extra rows, but take a look at what it's done. The 2 states for Colorado have a blank list that just gives us the Colorado total of 863,000. 3 states, or three regions in Illinois. Illinois total, 1.43 million. Here's the other cool thing. What if we just need to know, well, I'm mostly curious just about California and Illinois. Those were our 2 new branches this year. What we can do is we can close up the other states. Reopen Illinois. We can close up the other states by just clicking the corresponding plus or minus arrow on this level 2 here. As you get more and more subtotals, or as you get more conditions by which subtotaling is done, you can get a pretty busy list. What if we want a lot of detail? We want that busy list, but only for 2 out of our 10 different categories. These plus and minus signs will close things up. It shows us Washington, Florida, and Colorado, but it just gives us the total to let us know they're still there. Then we get the details for Illinois and California. There's one other thing to note. This 1, 2, and 3 over here, 1, 2, and 3 are the levels of the sort. So if I click 3, it's going to open up everything prior to 3. What is 3, you ask? 3 is the 3rd and most detailed level of sorting. We don't actually have anything in 3. If you look through for 3, there's just a little dot by every single row. That just means that 3 is the full list. It's going to give us absolutely everything. If we click 2, it will collapse everything in list 2 to its lowest level while still making it visible. Now we just have the state totals, and 1 is usually going to be just your grand total. When we click 1, it will go to the largest overall form. When we click 2, it expands 1 and leaves us with the collapsed second most populous list which is the totals for states. And when we click 3, it expands everything and gives us all the details. This can be another one of those things where you say, okay, I see what you clicked on and what happened, but I wouldn't really know a ton about that if I was using this by myself on a different list. Hey, don't worry. It's 3 buttons, and none of them commit a permanent change. If you're ever subtotaling, just feel free to click on these guys. They don't save your workbook. You can't do any damage. Always safe to experiment with the plus or minus signs over on subtotal, especially since they can often give you a much better look than you may have had originally. Subtotaling's great the bigger the sheet gets and the more categorizations are in a single sheet.